Hello and welcome back to my podcast called Faith is Strength. I'm Nochi Mendel. I'm speaking out of Muncie, New York. I'm helping spread the beautiful light of spiritual living across the world. May my words and the expressions of my soul be gratifying to everyone who hears them. I pray that my ideas help pave a beautiful path in your journey of life. Thank you for tuning in. Happy New Year! January 1st is the day of this recording. January 1st, 2019. Epic. Can't believe it's 2019. What a beautiful year. What a beautiful 2 years. It's literally 2 years since I started my podcast. A bit shameful that I only recorded 12 or 13 pieces in that time frame, but I'm here to rectify that. The title of today's podcast is called Can We Help the OTD Youth? Now, this recording that I'm going to share, this episode, this podcast was actually recorded many months ago. Many months ago, me and Viggy Farkas sat down and we had a genuine conversation about this topic. Originally, we were imagining that we were going to make a video out of it. So I had first recorded a video myself asking him the question, presenting the problem, and then we were sitting together having a conversation about it where he gives his answers, and then I followed that by a summary. So the audio quality is not great. There are 3 different recordings all spliced together. I wanted to share it anyway because I think that it is, like I said, a genuine conversation about a great topic, something we're very passionate about and familiar with. And what better way than to introduce Viggy to our podcast than with this amazing conversation that we had. What you are about to hear is a recording from a couple months ago that was sent to Viggy. Viggy. For some reason, I think about Viggy. Every time I have a conversation about OTD, Viggy pops in my head. Viggy's like my OTD go-to guy for hearing another perspective, another opinion. Coming from different places, different backgrounds, each person in their own perspective has a very interesting view of things. So I was having a really good conversation with my sister this Shabbos, where we were talking about whether it is possible to help the youthful OTD group. I'm talking about the age group that is primarily between 15 and 20 who just left the throes of the ultra-Orthodox community and are out on the streets with their boys, doing that all day. I'm not referring to Footsteps crowd. That's more, in my opinion, a little bit older individuals who already have some brains to know that they need help. It's already another step. Talking about the really young when they just leave and they're completely lost and very possibly making decisions that will affect them for the rest of their lives. So my sister has a certain innate desire to want to help them. I think anyone who leaves and finds their bearing, their footing, and gets grounded, leaves the bubble, feels like they could help those who are entangled in the intricacies of it. But then when you try to think practically how you can make that happen, it becomes very difficult to come up with a real practical solution. I was never able to find any real way to navigate the complexities of the psyche of these individuals. I was there myself, me and all my friends. You know, Viggy. We were all there. What's my question? It's actually a couple, but they all relate. Can we help these individuals? Are we responsible to help them? Do we need to help them? Is it our responsibility? Do I have to help them because I've found stability? Do we just ignore them? Let them be? Let it play out? I know that one argument for not letting it play out and trying your hardest to get involved is that a lot of these individuals resort to all kinds of detrimental stuff, and they make decisions that mess them up. They resort to hardcore drugs very often, a lot of suicides. You end up with 25-year-olds who can't get a job, 30-year-olds who can't write their name in English. These are serious repercussions of not getting help in a timely manner when they could have. Leaving the community at 15, which is very, very common, is a good age to get your stuff together, get your mind right. The question is there a space in which you could get in with these? I don't see it. Do they want the help? Does a 70-year-old who's out hanging out with the boys want to hear from someone who has been through their journey? Can we get them to open up and have meaningful conversations? That's the question. Can we get them to talk about what they went through, how they're feeling, where they're going, where they want to go, what they're thinking, what they're planning? Or is it by default, because of their situation and circumstances, what they went through and what they're currently going through, which is the symptom of what they went through, or are they just untouchable? I suggested to my sister that it's so hard to get in with these cliques that she would probably give up before she really got anywhere. And she agreed. She says she already gave up. She's been thinking about it for months. Maybe perhaps tried various different ways. They're not interested. An 18-year-old who's having fun all day is not interested in talking about health, education, growth, life. They're busy rebounding everything they went through. So I naturally try to stay away from that extremism. I left it so many years ago. I feel so far removed from it that I don't even associate with that outlook anymore. I don't understand it. It's not me. But then when I hear stories, when I talk to my friend, my people, or think back to what I went through, it hurts. And then when it hurts, it makes me think, well, maybe something can be done. Maybe there is a way to reach out, create an environment in which people feel welcomed and people open up and just kind of spark a little bit creativity and health, emotional health, get people to open up and deal with the intricacies of what they're going through, of their journey, a little bit younger. Instead of realizing at 25 that they're messed up and running to footsteps or organizations, help me, can we reach out when they're still young and get them to start thinking about life? Get them to start thinking about getting educated, the importance of these various facets of life. I think it's a very difficult topic, a very difficult question. I don't know if there is one right answer or the other. But that is what I want to understand a little bit, because this is something I think that comes up for anyone who has graduated that square, that box, that community outlook, that convoluted, pushed upon, controlled, meager way of looking at things and approaching things. Anybody who's gotten past that and is actually healthy and understands what it means to talk about real issues in life, anyone who's gone to help for any decent period of time, usually feels like, wow, like I wish I could help, I wish I could do something, but nothing ever happens. I left the community more than 10 years ago. There were no outlets then, and there are no outlets now. Now, granted, I was of one of the first generations that started leaving so young. I feel like my group age kind of started that trend, rebelling at 12, 13, and 14. But now it's so common. I mean, every other house has one or two. So the issue became a lot more prevalent, and there's still nowhere substantial to go. And I'm not talking about religious reckoning and getting people back on religious track, or even the opposite, pushing or influencing people to become secular, none of that. Just sitting with and having conversations to get people to think about real life implications, real life matters, stuff that will matter to them in the coming years, stuff that they should have been taught and talked about growing up, but they didn't, obviously, right? Because it's the community. Just conversation, just reaching out, just being there, just answering questions. Is it possible to create such an environment? Are we obligated to? Is it an endeavor that just creates more headaches than it solves problems? Is it even viable? Will it help? Will it make things worse? Tell me what you think so that we could share our ideas and perhaps even hear what others have to say on the matter. Thank you.
There's two parts to it. The whole, what I took out of it is two parts. There's the individual, and then there's us, the Ugefuden, the OTDs.
What do you mean?
You're asking if we should help. Yeah?
Right.
Dat vind ik niet in English.
Shit!
No,
the whole video in the wrong language.
Whatever, bye.
What did you do in the last one? English? Do English. Whatever you did in the last one.
Yeah, okay. So basically, there's the individual, and then there's the community. Yeah? OTD community. And the religious community. The thing with helping is that we're good people, right? We're not bad people. In the OTD, we're this side of the spectrum.
Right.
So we know we're not bad people. For them, we come off as bad people. But our whole life we were trained, help out, help, be a good person. So now you're a good person. Yeah. You want to help out. You want to help out that little kid, you know, that little, whatever, the kid that is OTD, because we're good people. Just for them, maybe we come off as bad. You know what? I'm going to say Yiddish. I'm going to say Yiddish. Fantastic.
Whatever's comfortable.
The Bocher was... Yes, Yiddish. Like, the Bocher was...
Love it.
As the Bocher doesn't want to get helped. Why? Because when he's 15 years old and he got taros in yeshiva, he doesn't want any authority. Now, help comes with authority. That's how it is. Because if somebody helps you, why do we get all like, nah, he's a kid? Because we don't want that person helping me. It makes me look schwach. I'm 15, I'm 16, I'm 17. I'm 18, I'm 20. I don't want to bow down, oh my God, you're going to help me. So they think that it's that type of thing and they don't want to listen to you. Now, it's also once, so that's the thing with helping. They don't let you in.
So that's point number one, that you're saying, first of all, that we can help them because they don't want the help. And they're martyrs. I'm okay. I'm strong. Yeah, I'm good.
What do you mean?
I can handle this.
Now, and this brings up a point. You're saying that they're strong. Obviously, they're mad strong. They took off pious, the bull, they hit an apple. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about martyrdom, meaning...
Yeah, but it takes a lot. It takes huge cojones. Oh, yeah. In the hit. So that means you have cojones. Now you're going to show the whole world you don't have cojones?
Yeah. There's an aspect in reality.
So that's one OTD, strong. By the way. That's one type of OTD. I want to talk about more. This is more interessant to talk about the OTDs that don't take off the Buddha bias. Those are the real problem. Why? Because now it's a number game. More people more families are growing. The tree has more bad stuff, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean that the whole tree is bad, so to speak. The growth. When I grew up, a bum was a certain style. A bum was, the cap was here. Now, if you go to Monroe or you go to Williamsburg, a guy could have a job. A guy can work and drive. Job and work.
Work, driving.
Yeah, driving. I drive at work.
I drive to work.
So the thing is, when a bucha comes out, as in, boom, take off beard and pious, he shows balls, right? He goes one way. This other kid that really you should be concerned about. You know, you don't know where he goes because he doesn't need attention from you. He gets his attention somewhere. If he's a bad person, you know, like, so in your opinion he's bad, he's gonna go. Now, if kids would have more understanding with their parents, they would be more open for help. Because when a kid, I know, now I'm 30, right? So I see a lot of new coming bummers, and I see the new aging fathers are 10 times better. There's the new aging fathers that are actually better at handling the OTDs, the bummers, than my father's age. You know what I mean? But it still has the same effect.
That's actually really interesting because I feel like I mentioned, we are from one of the generations that I feel started this whole trend, if you could call it that, of going OTD so young.
There was never...
When we were 12, 13, we looked at 18, 19-year-old like those bums. Let's not mention any names. And those were like the stereotypical, like, don't end up like them. Right? But at 13, 14, we're on the street, and it was a new thing. It wasn't common like it is now.
Because nobody else was on the street before you.
Right. And now that we kind of like started that, or we were in the beginning of that, now it's completely common. 12, 13, 14.
It's growing because it's growing.
Right.
Because for let's say by us it was every 10 kid there was one bum, right?
Right.
So that's from 100 there will be 10. But now there is thousands of people. So the bomb is, the small 1 out of 10 is a big number now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you put one room garbage at the beginning, you don't really, okay. But then when it piles up, it really piles up. That room becomes huge.
Right. So it's really interesting how to, thinking about how the numbers game and how things changed in history. But going back to my initial question, so first of all, you said that you differentiated between the OTD crowd who openly goes off, who's bold enough to cut off the payas, unleash like we did, and they have strong character to be able to do that.
I took off my bias when I was 28. I'm a whole nother bowling bull.
Oh, so you're a mixture of
both,
one and two. And then you're saying the ones that we really need to worry about are group number 2, which stay within the community.
And they're around. Now, maybe you don't see the effect yet because their kids are still small. Yeah, right? You don't know them. It looks all nice and they make kiddish and what I'm saying is the technology is coming in. That's a whole other ballgame about technology, how bad internet is.
Wait, so you're moving to the next phase that
no,
these individuals got married, have kids already, and their kids?
People my age, right? Or even older or younger, 20-year-old that is still in the system. By my age, what did you do? You had to physically go out, get stuff, do stuff.
Right.
I mean, a magazine. It was a physical thing. Now, I don't want to get into that. That's a whole other topic. Right. The cell phones and the internet and the good and the bad that it has. That's a whole other video that I actually do want to make. I think it's very important. I have also twisted ideas about it, what people don't have. But these are the new people. These are the new girls by the corner that only took 10 boys out of 100, out of 1,000 had the guts to go.
Right.
And nobody knew about it. There was one. But now there's 30. There's 100 compared to the numbers, and you don't know about it because it's all in the closeness of his house, his comfort of his apartment.
And you're saying that the group set number 1, which is the bold OTDer, they can't be helped because they won't allow it. They won't allow in because they're busy being martyrs and they're busy being free, so they don't need help.
No. They can't accept by them help. It feels downgrade. Mm-hmm. Because what type of help are you going to give them? Let's say when a 15-year-old comes to you, structure. Go to college. Wake up in the morning. Go daven. Not because of religious reasons. Because the person that wakes up and davens is up.
Right.
Nobody goes daven, goes back to... If somebody says, every day I'll daven at 7 o'clock in the morning. Let's just say. He promised himself, nope, very few people are going to go back to sleep at 8 o'clock. Right. 7, sleep. You're up already. You're going to find something to do. You're going to hit up a gym. You're going to have a job. You're going to go to school. It's going to be structure. Structure, what I mean, I have to be now 8 o'clock. The teacher's me? He's in yeshiva. So he doesn't want to go back to it.
So it's like a combination of a couple of things. First of all, it's like martyrdom. They're good. They're free. Second of all, they're having fun. Third of all, they don't want authority. And that's basically what I thought. That's what I said in the beginning of the video. In the first part that I recorded for you, I don't see that in. I was there. I know hundreds of people who we classify as OTD. Okay. I don't see the in for the reasons that you're explaining.
So how?
Which leaves us with what?
So how can we get in? Every code you can break.
Do we have to get in first?
Technically, we don't have to do anything, no, because your life is before. And if your life is not on track, that means if your life is on track 100%, that means you can do whatever you're doing to other people.
How can we get in?
So how can we help? If we make videos like this, we can enter them. We're not going to save everybody, so to speak. We're not going to help out now. Like I said, I have like a spoiler alert. I'm not going to come out with a receipt, with a paper, with a program, do this and this, like a 5. Right. You're going to be helped. No. I once saw a video last week, and at the end of the video, it's supposed to be like an inspirational style video. And I was mad. And somebody asked me, why are you mad? It's inspirational. I said, because he's saying that it's all in me. So he's saying, okay, it's all the power is in me. I choose whatever I want. He's saying that I choose my path. Whatever bad, good, I choose it. And I'm mad. Of course I'm mad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm choosing all the bad.
Yeah.
But I can be mad as much as I want. If he is right, I don't want to get into that, but if he's right, that means I'm choosing it. So that's why I'm mad.
Okay. I'm mad that I'm choosing it.
I'm mad that I'm in this position.
So you're saying that through video making is one roundabout, it's a back entrance maybe.
If somebody's going to click on this video, it's free, it's on YouTube. He's on YouTube.
I like that.
He wants to be relevant to his community by the end of the game. He wants a Kegel Donnerstag now.
Right.
He can be in Texas. He has an online thing. He can be Shabbos in Atlantic City. In the, I'm not trying to say the biggest Goyish Azach. I know there's bigger. Like some people are saying, oh, it's on Asugas' hotel. No, I know everything.
It gets worse.
Yes.
We won't talk about that.
Here, I'm just going to go with the most...
So you're saying... I actually agree with that. I just spoke about that on my last podcast about YouTube being a platform of the new world. It's replacing media, but it's also creating solutions for a lot of issues.
It comes in.
And if there's no way to get in, for example, with the young OTD crowd, perhaps at least there's a platform, YouTube, where you can create content where if somebody is interested...
Not if. Somebody will be interested.
Right.
One person... 2 people from every day. It's
right.
They didn't sit by Atuma and say, you know what? When we get 50 calls a month, we'll open up. No, the first time it helped, and he bought a bag, and he bought this. But the first special. So if this could help, I'll give you an example. Someone said, "Oh, you're making these videos, stupid videos." So I told them, "Okay, I hear your point, but if let's say someone goes through." Let's say if I make a video about drugs, and we know people that every day there is deaths of drugs. Every day. Overdose. Every day. If I save, let's say, and I tell someone, this kid is dying right now, this medicine is $5,000. In front of you. The EMS says, we can't give it, it costs $5,000. And you have $5,000 in your pocket. Are you going to give it? Are you going to give out $5,000? This boy is shaking right now. He has 20 seconds to live. There's a Narcan? I don't remember. Cops are having it. It's like an EpiPen for allergic reaction, for drugs. I don't know exactly what when where drug dealer, but it saves lives. They have real numbers. But
you would $5,000.
No, but I'm just saying, would you pay $5,000 if you have $5,000? Of course, somebody's life.
Right.
So my stupid video saves one person.
Right.
And if you don't care about the person, I saved you $5,000 because it will cost you by the end of the game. It will cost you. What it will cost you, I don't know.
So you're saying it's a good business investment.
It's not. I'm saving money.
Saved you money.
I'm saving money. I'm saving money. I'm saving tzad. I'm saving. What do you mean? One kid dies in the family. I know one person that had a successful son. College, all types of highly decorated in German. He's 24 and he overdosed in college. That was a whole family that went gaga. They don't care about you. But if hypothetically, I would have made a drug video, and this kid would have seen it in college and not pass away, they wouldn't know to thank me. They wouldn't know. Oh, okay, let me call Viggy thank because they don't know me yet. But fact is that I saved them.
Yeah.
Yeah, God knows. Or
those are all powerful points, and they're so relevant, and there's so much more to it than that. Also, people who share. First of all, this particular topic is a topic that we're so familiar with. We're like intimately involved with it because we went through it. All of our friends. I mean, this is our life. I don't have to work hard to come up with ideas and opinions on this matter.
It's us. We can only talk. We can only talk what we saw and what we see.
And also self-expression. It's like, if somebody says to you, "Your videos are stupid," I don't care. I'm happy that I'm healthy enough to share my ideas on the topic.
Again, you have to be responsible what you share. I mean, everything has consequences. I get it.
Sure.
But I don't live in the... Let's say if we go to Mars and we find the whole community there. Over there, if a car hits you, nothing happens. Over there, people run out. Over here, no, because there's consequences. That's called consequences. If I give out a video, something bad, it's consequences. But if I think it's good, it's not consequences for me.
Yeah, well, there's obviously nothing negative about what we're promoting. Unless ultra extremists.
Or they will, what do you mean? Because I'm going to tell them they're doing something wrong?
Right.
They're right away. What do you mean? Me? No, I am good. I will.
Speaking of wrong, what do you think is more important? Focusing topic on the actual people going through it or their parents?
So I think if we talk about this, I think it helps even the parents, because parents will look at this and see just one point of view. Like we were talking about Shabbos. If somebody has a kid that doesn't keep Shabbos, if you should give him money. I came in the middle of the conversation, so I don't know exactly how the conversation started. Okay. They were talking if you should give money for your son on Shabbos if he goes out. So I said, obviously you keep Shabbos so your son understands. And if he comes to you and asks you for money, then he's doing something. He does. If he drives out of the driveway, he's doing a dafka because he knows about Shabbos. So that's a whole other ballgame for himself. Why is he driving out of the car? Oh, so it's a kinter. I'm not saying he's right, but he's doing it because when people don't want to piss off their parents for no reason, they park 2-3 blocks down. They walk up. They respect. Now, so they were talking about you should give money or not. So so I said my opinion is if let's say you know your kid. I'm not saying I want to be in that shoes or in that challenge. My kid's coming to me. I'm just discussing because it happens. So it's not something I would. Weiß gemeint if the how do you call it? Avram Avinu went through like tests.
Yeah. Tribulations.
No, how do you call it in Yiddish? Doorgangs, whatever, like tests from God. Ich heb de man nog vergessen. Deze heb ik rap uitgezwaard.
Right.
De patch gedenken is dat
or worse.
There's like 10 things that Avram Avinu went by. So I'm saying I'm not saying I'm ready for the test or I batteries included. I would say batteries not included, but I can still have doctors that heal cancer could also get cancer.
Right.
Doesn't. Oh, doctor. This is where my head runs.
What's your point, though?
Yeah. I was about to get to my point. What we're talking about?
About making videos, helping parents, or helping the children. You're saying we could help the parents too.
Oh, by giving them a perspective. Oh, so we were talking. It was the money. So I said is that if you know that your kid is leaving Shabbos with a car, with an unsafe car, however the unsafe you think it is, you should call your son on the side and say, listen, dude, you have $7 for taxi and $12 for let's say bowling. I don't know where he goes. Bowling? Just be home before 12. Or however you can pull that rubber band that you gain a mutual, it's like a business thing. He's not your son no more. Now you have to, or you can fight him and he's going to have 5-6 years of being at home, but being enough money to be outside, to buy his pair of jeans and everything every day he should look good.
So when you came into the conversation, you advocated for that outlook, that perspective?
So I said, I'm not saying how or what or when, but I think a father should take, if your son is going anyways, might as well go safe. And he should see, he still loves me even though I don't keep Shabbos. Or I'm still a human. Now, if you have 13 brothers, 12 brothers, and you don't want to affect, if your father is nice to you, walks up to you and gives you money, you're going to come home with your couple, you're going to lock your room. I remember when DVDs came out, it was like, DVDs, people had...
Right.
So some kids had a relationship with a father. I know people that I know from Visionets had a relationship for them and families that the room should be locked. His room, Moishi's room, is locked. And he watched movies, and now they're still good with their fathers. 30 years later, he's eindelijk watch movies. Who doesn't watch movies these days? Netflix. Right. I'm saying Yiddish movies.
So you're not talking about handing the kid money on Shabbos when he's leaving. You mean having a relationship? A
relationship with him, understanding him. Okay, die bist da goy, but you know where I'm coming from. I know where you're coming from.
Without neglecting your own ideologies and
and he'll come back.
Right.
You can see the people that go to college 10 years, and when they settle down, they come back. Like I always say, if you find out you're not Jewish, everybody says, yeah, I'll come back. Why? I'll go out, I'll do whatever I gotta do, and I'll come back. Why? Because everybody knows Yiddishkeit has a certain liebschaft, but you have to want it. You have to put it out there like a buffet. You can't force it into me. You have to put it on a buffet. You have to make it nice. Yes, unfortunately, the world has changed. They fed it in like the lion, like the bird puts it into the mouth. It's rejecting.
Is there something sweet in Judaism?
Yes.
Everybody's attracted to it?
Yes.
Or is it we were just so well brainwashed?
Yes, you're brainwashed 100%. But if you find out tomorrow that haluchadik, as in you don't have the guilt, if I come into your brain and I take away the guilt, and you can be a goy tomorrow, God won't hit you. Like a mutual relationship, God tells you you're a goy. Yeah, you're gonna go to McDonald's. I know there's better restaurants, but I'm saying like you're gonna do all the things, and when you're gonna finish, however, most people, I can say 99%. I don't want to say 100%, but I'm saying 99%. And I'm thinking on the comments are gonna be like, how do you know the percentages? I'm saying the idea of the percentages.
I love those commenters. Well, these are all theories, and these are interesting theories.
Yeah. Nothing. But I wasn't standing there with a board because the person on the board is not going to sign, even though he thinks I'm right. Judaism is a very interesting thing.
Overwhelming majority come back. So regardless of what it's blamed on.
Oh, so it's not about the coming back. It's not a coming back. Like people say, Monroe, there's no Balchivas. There's first-time Jews. There's no coming back because they were not Jewish. Putting on tefillin every day, going to minyan, or whatever you pick to do. You want to go say tashlach. You're doing it because you want to do it. You're not doing it because someone's standing with a gun.
Right.
I mean, I hope not. A gun can be a whole nother level. I know people for work, they do stuff. They go with certain division. The second you take away that option, they're out. Again, it's keeping them. Unfortunately, it's keeping them. But I'm talking about the people that want to do stuff. They want to. I wanted to say sing, but it's not a mitzvah. I mean, I don't know. It's Hasidim. It's a mitzvah. So.
There's definitely something. So you could say that they're not really coming back because they never really leave. So there's a rebellion period.
Again, it killed your life, and you don't know where to go. You don't know. There's no other there's no other choice in that. There's no beef. There's no.
That's what I was saying before. Your family's here. Your life is here. Your friends are here. Everything's here.
You don't enjoy now a beer and country fried chicken outside of your trailer with a kiddie pool and your feet are in, and you're sitting on it. This is not you.
I feel like everybody has a different excuse why they're end up not.
It's not.
I left. I was completely integrated into the secular world.
Okay, you have a different circumstances.
Right.
You're no.
Yet I'm still here.
Okay, but you had a different. Again, there's good stuff here. There's no.
That's why I find it very interesting that regardless of what your backstory is,
you're back. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with you.
So it's just an interesting idea that is what takes place, which is I think is a whole conversation in its own right, exploring all the various nuances of why.
First of all, what
makes a person really leave and what lures them back in and why.
Yiddish life is very hectic. It's a very hectic life. It's constant. It's
service of God. Everything. Holidays.
Oh, so not only is it you have to serve God, you have to serve your community. That's even a closer watchdog than the act. It's like state level and federal level. Like you constantly work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what I'm saying is that the reason why people come back is because it's not back. That's home. It's not a threat. It's not a bad thing. Again, if he would have had, when he was younger, I'm giving you an example, choices to leave and support from his family, and he would have found something that he liked, he could have integrated that in being Jewish. Let's say somebody goes and finds out that he loves skiing. You can go skiing and be a Jew, but he had to become a whole guy and everything
to find out
that he likes skiing.
To find out that he could be a Jew and a skier.
No, to be a skier. And then another 20 years to find out. And when he comes back, he doesn't really want to ask again because he doesn't want to integrate in a community. Because our community is the...
Which is what ties in precisely to the point of this video. Which is, can you reach out? Because the youth are uneducated.
You can reach out.
I'm dumbfounded on how ignorant I was, and practically everyone is in the community growing up. At 12 years old, I knew less than my 6-year-old nephew knows now in a normal school. I was so dumb. I knew nothing, and you know how we used to draw on all kinds of insignificant things to feel good and knowledgeable, like you reference a movie or an actor or something in the secular world to show that you know something, Bin Laden or like the dumbest thing. We were literally so ignorant.
You know, little information for us, small information today was big fish for us.
But what's my point though? You leave the community, like I said, 12, 13, 14. Now you don't know anything. The secular world it's drawing you. You want to understand. You want to know.
Yeah, but now, it's different today's days and our days. Today's days there's Google. So
right.
I'm just saying it's a whole nother wave coming in. Like stronger. That's what I'm saying about the internet.
Yeah, so technology is changing things, but a 14-year-old that's hanging out with the boys smoking is not sitting on Google and learning about his life to come.
But he's going to see a video. Because this is the video in his community that he never saw before, because a vlogger in Manhattan doesn't show anything about his life. Right. He thinks, let's say I watch a lot of vloggers, And it's so interesting how they live and they it's like it has nothing to do with my world. It's a whole nother how I wake up, how he wakes up. This Bucher, when he watches that vlogger, it's entertaining because I watch it too, I understand. Or other videos, he sees another. He can't really relate. It's very hard for him to relate. But if he has someone that he relates to it, let's say he watches this and he sees, oh wow, I relate to this. Boom, let me hear what they have to say. It takes a split second to change.
That's true.
And yet again, if from 20 people you get only one, hello, that one, you're talking about, you're not just saving one, you're saving one, people around him. Let's say there's always that one friend that brings the drugs. Not 20 people coming, 20 people brings the drugs. It's one person that brings in, and he's the main power. He brings in the drugs, he spreads them, 2, 3 die because they don't know.
Yeah, so this ties into that complexity that I was talking about, where we don't see the in, yet at the same time you feel like, no, you could help these people. And perhaps videos like this could potentially help people, and there's no doubt about that. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we feel the need or the enjoyment of doing it.
I'm telling you, this is going to help people. I'm telling it to you like there's a light, like there's night outside.
No doubt. But what I wanted to draw back on that point, another point that you just touched on, which actually ties into the beginning of this video, was the part that you said, so you have to go through all of that, go to draw on the secular world to find out that you like skiing, that you could come back to the Judaism and be a skier. This is exactly what I was touching on in the beginning of my video when I was saying, you have to go through, you're going to go through the years of decisions.
Yeah, but not everybody finds the ski in them. Not everybody finds that.
That's precisely what was my whole point. If you can reach out when they're 13, 14 years old and show them without bias, I mean, they came from a community of control. If you can reach out when they're young, hey, you could be a skier right now. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, but to become a skier, he needs discipline.
Right.
These skiers right now in the Olympics, they didn't wake up yesterday. I'm gonna become a skier. No, they put in a lifetime of work. That takes discipline. Waking up. I used to sign.
How are they gonna find that discipline?
So what happens? It's all in the mind, right? So when they're 15 and they're smoking, and somebody walks up and says, now I understand that guy, but this Mohammed is pissed off. Anything related to Judaism, his firewall is gonna come up. If he sees this video, first of all, it's on YouTube. It says his own time, own bathroom, own room,
right?
Own individual. I'm like talking to him, so to speak. And he's going to sit there and be like, I disagree. Oh, I agree. That. You know what? Tomorrow, Moshe's going to call me, and I know Moshe, Yankee or Chaim has the drugs or wants to just hang out. I don't want to just focus on the drugs. Hang out and just sit in the car, and time's going to be amazing. We're not going to be in Yeshiva. You know what? I'm going to go down and check out about the GED program. And he's going to schlep himself down. Let's say 5. Let's make 5 kids. 5 people. They're going to go down. One is going to get GED. Once you get, usually that start rolling.
Yeah.
And he tells other friends. You
start a trend, like a momentum. And then once it gets rolling, it moves.
My whole life they told me, you just have to save one person. It's like saving the whole world. So what's different? I have to wait until he goes into CPR or cardiac arrest to do this and just tell his mother, sorry, he didn't make it?
Right.
And nobody believes it happens until it actually happens. Like you look at text message, don't break the chain, okay? That's also something that we need to pay for. All the tillums and all the bad feelings in the middle of the day. Another guy died. I have to volunteer. I can't tell you, don't send me the information. If you don't like this video, don't send me the information. Don't send me, you're gestorben. Yeah, so this is what it is.
Right. So you're making the point again that through these videos we could potentially reach out to them and maybe even the parents. And
if a parent sees it and sees a point of view like, oh, let me be on his side. Let me actually send him to college. Sorry, I'm knocking you over. I feel like
no.
Like years ago, I heard the story. I worked in a place, a Hasidic guy. Hey, Hasidic Monroe guy. I don't remember his name. He actually went to college. He went into the Rebbe. He had something with his wife, passed away. I don't know exactly. And I remember something. He went in and the Rebbe said, you can go to college. Like, you should go to college for this and this and this. As much as I understood, he went to college. So he told me a story that there was one of his people, like a mentor, whatever, told him that there was a boy that the mentor was taking care of some boy, and he decided this boy should go to college. And he told him to go to college. The father was against it. He made phone calls, all the Rabbuna, what are you going to college, and again, he didn't that Bucher didn't take off his burden pies. I think he was that inside type of bum, you know, that the OTD inside.
The second group that you spoke about.
Yeah, and that guy, that professor, or I don't know exactly what the connection was, saw that he's that, and he sent him to school, and he's telling me the story that this kid now is an aerodynamic designer. Something in aerodynamic. And he landed a good job, obviously, because he landed a good job. He was good at what he done. And we are learners, so now he's happy and he davens, and the father can't stop thinking. He's telling me that 10 years the father was haunting him. Yeah. Everything, he forced up my kid, and this kid is back. Not back, I never left.
Which is, it's a area of hypocrisy in its own right when parents act that way. But I don't want to slip into that conversation. I have so many ideas.
Yeah, but they don't know better. No, they don't know better. They don't know because nobody told them.
And they don't apologize. It's only
because they don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong then because I was the one
what it takes.
Ripping you into the ground.
You know what it takes.
Now, congratulations, you made it. You're the best.
I have a friend.
I was the best 10 years ago.
Yes. Hey, really? You know what it takes. After 20 years of having a bad childhood, you know what it takes. One word. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with people that the parents came and said sorry. When I talk to someone and he tells me my father this and that and my mother this and that, like things. And I'm like, oh, so you're still with them? Like I'm talking about a serious OTD, like a guy that you see that had issues. And I know that. It's like, yeah, everything is good. Yeah, my father told me. I'm sorry. Like I thought his father used to hit him a lot. So his father said, I thought this is normal. I thought this is like everybody did it. Now I'm smarter. He said the second his father told him, things changed.
One I'm sorry is huge. I mean, it could really rock worlds.
I just want to say this, and maybe you heard it about the Yam HaMelech. I always say it about the Yam HaMelech. I just want to make sure I say it, because there's a big difference of knowing and knowing. Like, thinking like, oh, sorry, help, sorry. like you had, and I totally get that point of view. But, listen to this. Everybody knows that Yam HaMelech, you float.
Yeah.
Especially from where I come from, everybody knows Yam HaMelech, you float. But the first time you go to Yam HaMelech, you sit into the water, what happens? You float. Why are you so excited? Why are you so excited that you float? You didn't know?
Because now you know.
Now there is like the mental snitch in your head that when you go through something, same thing with the sorry.
Connecting knowledge with experience.
It makes like
it
forms.
It.
You're saying the good words, I don't know. But it forms like a full circle and actually changes stuff. So I just want to.
It's interesting, yeah. That's actually what dot is. Dot is knowledge combined with experience.
That's the strongest.
It's an applied understanding, applied knowledge, which is really interesting. So going back more to the beginning of what we were talking about, so you separated the groups. You have the group who are bold enough to go crazy.
To show you. To show you.
Like we did. Yes, we made it.
You did. I wasn't so much on your team.
Don't be so.
No. I wasn't so much. I was on your team.
So you're saying you were part of group 2?
I was group A and B. Yes, I was both. I was mixturing both.
And in the beginning you said we have to be more worried about group B.
Yes.
The silent killers.
The silent.
But is there anything to be done about that? Is there something we need to be aware of? You're saying they can be helped more than the ones.
Both can be helped. Again, the bold ones we know more of because they're stories.
Right.
And those hidden ones are still brewing. It's like having eggs under New York City with dinosaurs. Nobody knows about it because it's still brewing. But when you see the eggs, you know, oh, something's gonna happen.
Right.
Basically, the wrap up of this whole video is that there is help. It's just a very interesting way that we're not used to, and it also takes a lot from us. Especially, I know for me, I can tell myself it's not easy to go out there and make a video. Because when I see a video of other people, I also cringe and do are you serious?
Right.
But I'm working on myself. No, because that guy has 4,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 15,000 followers. Nobody has to like my zip code. There's hundreds of thousands of zip codes. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that there's definitely change that can come. Help and really what I want of this video is to reach out to that 115, 14, 16, 20, that there is a world, not a world that will end up by winning nothing. You're pushing a wall that you're not going to win anything, and you can do stuff. I can give you an example. Biking. I still want to wrap this up. Biking, sports, There's so much to do. I did biking. There's potential in biking. You know, you're not keeping Shabbos anyways. You can do racing. You can be healthy. When you're healthy, you're doing good. You work out. You have what to do. There's life out there. There's life beyond the rock.
Yeah.
And I know that you know, not you. There are people I know. Yeah, and one friend went to New Jersey. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in the world, you went to you went to Miami. You went to
the kid who grows up in New Square. He went to Muncie once. You know, it's so close, cultish.
So I'm saying is before you do like sort of amazing moves by taking off your pious or beard or doing stuff, you can look on the other side and see maybe the other world offers something, and it's not even the other world. It's in our world. The God gave us.
Well, you heard the conversation, so let me try to wrap it up a little bit. First, we heard Viggy's differentiation between Group A and Group B. Group A being the group that are bold. They have the character, they have what it takes to rip free of the constraints, cut off the payas, and just go all out. Then you have Group B, which stay within the community. They operate within the community. They have a persona. They pretend like they're, you know, they play the part. But internally, they have deep struggles and deep issues with the community lifestyle and everything. So that's a great point. And I guess moving forward, we want to take that into consideration when we are referring to and who we're referring to when we are. Because there will be some distinctions when talking about certain aspects of this phenomenon. Next, we heard Viggy's opinion, which was kind of in unison with my own, that there's no way to get in other than using technology, which, as I mentioned, I believe is a strong tool. In my last podcast, I talk about that. My podcast, Faith is Strength. It's YouTube video making is a very strong tool because anybody can have their own platform. You can share ideas, and it's up to you whether or not you want to watch them or not. So he says that there's no practical way, like I thought, but perhaps making these videos might reach even one person who will say, hey, you know, that really helped me, or that idea, that outlook, that thought is going to help me improve my journey. So I'm definitely down with that. Like I said, regardless of which, this is something we lived. It's something we have embedded in us. I don't have to work hard to have opinions on this matter. I lived it. Me, all my friends, half of my family. This is something that tens of thousands of people are going through. So I do it regardless. I love the self-expression of it. Now, if people could tune in and actually glean some kind of benefits from it, great. So I do agree with him that might be the way to go about this. I don't see a sit down. And like he said also, we're not here to, you know, let's just pretend for a second that there was a way to help, a practical sit down and have conversations. I'm not a therapist. There are people who specialize in helping people. I'm not going to go say, you know, I have a job. We're all adults in the work world with responsibilities. So it's not even practical, even if we did want to help. But there's still something inside of us that says, hey, you know, maybe we could share something. So perhaps video making and this idea of maybe helping people through videos is the right approach to the madness. So that was good to hear. His response about it being our responsibility, he says, no, you know, first our responsibility is to help ourselves. And I agree. And I think at a certain point, if you really find your place, you really find stability, emotional stability, and just overall stability, you get to the point where you could help. And that's what he was trying to explain in other words. You have to actually be somewhere to be able to give it to someone else. How does that saying go? Something like you can't give what you don't have. What you don't have. You can't give to someone something that you yourself don't have. I mean, it's very, very simple, but very, very profound. And this is very, very true here. Now, just thinking into some of the points. So, a couple things. First of all, obviously, you can see in the discussion we went a little bit off track, quite a bit. We're new to this, right? And I don't naturally have the talent that it takes to stay on track, even though while we're talking, my analytical mind is going, okay, we're going off topic here. There's so much to talk about. Every single thing that we mentioned there could literally be an hour video of its own. And it's very easy to go in all kinds of different directions with the topics. So as we get more experienced in talking about these things, we'll work on keeping it a little bit structured so that when we're proposing one or two topics, we want to get to the bottom of it and not fly into a million other ones. But great things were proposed. It was kind of discussion based, and we're going to continue in various different formats to try to get just thoughts, opinions, and how people feel about this topic out there for other people to connect with. And one of the very strong points that he made that I wanted to really bring out more was that there's no normal outlet. I mean, you could call something like Footsteps a good outlet to go get help. But the fact is they're there to help you integrate into the secular world to a certain extent. And I think most people feel, even people in the community who are a little bit wary of it, I know a lot of people like that, they feel like there's a certain bias there, and there might be. I never went to Footsteps, so I don't know. But I also get that impression, like there's that bias, that little bias of trying to make you secular or trying to integrate into the secular world. Whereas what we're trying to do is just talk about life stuff. I couldn't care less if you're staying religious, not being religious, Jewish, not Jewish, Shabbos, all that stuff. It's really it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant when we're talking about just plain and simple health, education, well-being, emotional health, physical health, spiritual health, well-being, growth, becoming an adult, dealing with what you went through and all that stuff. It doesn't matter which direction. That's something that people need to figure out on their own. And perhaps with the right ideas, with the right guidance and stuff, people will be able to make those decisions a lot better, a lot easier. Instead of, as I mentioned, you 25, 30 years old, oh my God, where am I? What am I doing? Who am I? How did I get here? What kind of problems do I have? We want to tackle it when you're 15, as early as you can. Interesting point here is that I left the community really young. I was sent to my grandparents who own a ranch up in upstate Washington state near British Columbia when I was 14 or 15. So I left the community really, really young. And because I left so young and I threw all of the garbage from the community away so young and I started re-educating myself, the focal point here is the age. Because I was so young, I had and continue to have a much easier time with this whole process, as opposed to people who leave when they're older. I do believe that the older you leave, the more issues you have. It's like the difference of being abused for 2 years and being abused for 10 years. Obviously, there's a world of difference. Being locked up in the basement, you know how they always find on the news every year or so, somebody comes out that these wacko parents had their child locked in a basement. There's a difference between that child coming out after 2 years of being locked in a basement and 20 years. And it's the same thing within the confines of the community. Being stuck in this dynamic of the community for 12 years or 15 years is a lot easier to deal with, relatively, if you deal with it, than if you come out when you're already matured, 20, 25, or in middle of maturing. And I see this, this is just, you just open your eyes and look, and you see this. The older the person is when they left, the more they're struggling with, potentially. But that is something that I see. But the main thing is, though, is that when you leave younger, you have opportunity to get help younger. But I don't see that happening so much. I see a whole bunch of just nothing. You left when you were 15, nothing. Yeah, you're free, you're bumming around, you're doing your thing. Now you're 20, nothing. Now you're 25, midlife crisis, nothing. And then when you're a little bit like really maturing, like, oh, I should do something, so then you start trying to get educated then, and then it's so difficult because your brain is fully developed already. All kinds of complexities. If you would just understand that you could start approaching all of those things at a younger age, you'll be 25 with an education, with a job or a business, with a career, married if you want to be, a family, happy, healthy, feeling good, feeling well integrated into whatever life you choose. It's doable. But it can only come about if there is a way to bring this out to people. So that's basically where we want to go with that. And I thank you for tuning in for this one. Thank you for listening, and we'll continue to pump them out.
We will continue to do what we can, do what we must. One last thing that I would like to throw in is I just watched the last 3 videos and I realized that I missed it in my wrap-up of our conversation, is that Viggy misunderstood what I meant when I said that the OTDers out of the community are martyrs. He equated that with a positive trait. And there is an aspect or a certain character within OTDers that is actually very positive. It's a great display of strength of character, that they were bold enough, despite all the opposition and the backlash, that they went forward with what they felt and they unleashed. That's a good thing. When I talk about being a martyr in the case of trying to help these individuals is actually a negative thing. It means that they are putting up a wall or closing themselves off to help because in their mind they have to be strong and not show any emotional or psychological issues or problems, or they can't show weakness and stuff like that. So it's actually not a good thing. Other than that, the video is a little bit all over the place. A couple different locations, but it's all about the content. And with time, we'll get better at putting it out there. But for now, we're just going to do what we can within the abilities and resources that we have.